Yeah, let's start in this comfortable seat. So we'll take a hand to the heart and a hand to baby. And we're going to do a little bit of Dirga Pranayama to start. So that's full body breathing. And we'll work in one part at a time. So first I want you to imagine that your hips are nice and heavy, just letting them ground down into whatever you're sitting on. And then start to let the breath be big in the belly. So big inhales through the nose, out the mouth, nice soft jaw as you exhale. Continuing at your pace, trying to really fill up the belly, the hips, and the low back like a big balloon. And the exhales completely deflate that balloon all the way down. Good, one more. And then we're going to start to pay attention to our ribs and our mid-back. You can take the hands and place them on the sides of the ribs if it helps you feel this. So as you inhale, imagining those ribs can open like a big umbrella. And the exhales, we close that umbrella down nice and gently. Maybe feeling just a little bit of that core engagement at the very bottom of the breath. Continuing inhaling through the nose. Exhaling soft, open jaw as that umbrella closes down. Taking this at the pace that feels right for your body. One more. Good. Now we can bring the hands back up to the heart and start to breathe deeply into the chest now. So shoulders should be nice and relaxed down the upper back. Inhales, we open the chest, open the heart. Exhale, softening the shoulders, softening the neck. Everything releases down. A few more at your pace. Good, and as you're ready, you'll let one hand come back down to baby, inviting them into the practice as we take it to the full three-part Dirga breathing. So on your next inhale, filling up the belly, filling up the ribs, filling up the lungs, letting yourself be as big as you can be. And exhales, we completely release, letting the body slowly empty. And again, maybe we feel a little core engagement at the very bottom of the breath, but we're not trying to be forceful. Enjoying that sweet pause of emptiness before completely filling up again. Following your pace. And starting to gather information about the body. Maybe you're noticing some places will need a little more attention in your practice today. Maybe you're noticing your mind is trying to distract you. Just taking that as information and bringing your focus back to your practice. One more complete breath. Enjoying every moment of fullness and emptiness. And then allowing the breath to return to neutral. And I invite you here to set an intention for your practice today, choosing what you would like to take with you from the mat, and giving yourself permission to let go of anything you need to let go of during your practice. And keeping eyes closed, letting the hands just come softly down to your legs as you take just a few more breaths, noticing how your body and mind may have shifted with just some simple breathing. Great. On your next inhale, we'll lightly open the eyes, and we're going to transition into some leg work. So it's up to you. Neither of you are at a point in your pregnancy where you really need to be concerned about lying flat. In fact, during yoga, we're never really on our backs aside from Shavasana long enough for it to be a concern. So you can just lie flat on your back, especially if you don't have a bolster. If you do have a bolster or a pillow and you want to be propped up, you can take your yoga block, and I have it on a mid height right now, but you could also choose a higher height. And then you just place that bolster or pillow down. And you're going to line that up with your sacrum and come on down. If you're coming down onto your back, you can go ahead and do that now. And then we're going to take our strap in our right hand. So I'll give you guys a chance to catch up with me here. Good. Let your knees bend and take them nice and wide. You can even take them as wide as the mat. Good. So with your knees, with your left knee still bent, we're going to straighten out the right leg, and we're going to loop the strap down by the heel. So some people do this by the toe. I personally really prefer to do it at the heel because I think it gives you more control over the stretch. And then I take that strap and I wrap it around my hands a couple of times so that I don't really need to worry about pulling. So the point of this is not going to be like bicep curls to your face. You want to be nice and gentle with the stretch. I want you guys to flex through your foot. Inhale, think about lengthening the leg. And then as you exhale, then we're going to draw that leg towards us. And let the breath guide you here. So on the inhales, we straighten the leg, maybe even move it a little farther away. And on the exhales, we bring that leg closer. Nice, guys. Now, if this is feeling super easy and you're ready to ramp it up a little bit, go ahead and straighten that left leg. And we want to keep it active by flexing through the foot there. Nice. One more breath here. And on your next exhale, I want you to hug baby in as you let that leg start to come out to the right. And I want you to stop when you feel your left hip starting to pop up. You can bring your left arm out to give you a little bit of a counterbalance here. And then coming back to breath. Again, those inhales we lengthen, and exhales we think about increasing the tension just a little bit. Good. One more nice full breath. Really let those exhales help those hips open. And then on your next inhale, you're going to bring that leg up, hug baby towards you. Take the strap now in the left hand. You can take the right arm out long. And now we're going to bring that leg all the way over, and we are going to let the hip come up. Now, if you're on pillows like me, you're going to be rolling around. So you're going to need to adjust yourself. Good. And it can feel nice if you have the flexibility to also turn your head over to the right. We're going to keep flexing through both feet so that left leg is still nice and strong. And using that breath to help deepen the stretch and help your connective tissue release even more. One more breath. Next inhale, that leg's going to rise. We're going to bend the knee. Give a nice little hug in, releasing that strap down. And taking it to the other side, you can bring the right foot down. And I'm going to adjust because, again, if you're on a pillow like me, you're probably going to slide around a little bit. Now, left leg comes up. I'm going to take this strap in my left hand. I'm going to loop it around my heel and then loop the long part of the strap around my hand. So first I want to feel that connection from the base of my hip all the way up through the heel. So I'm going to really flex. I'm going to lengthen the leg. And I just want to take a full breath here. So inhaling to really lengthen the back of the leg. And then as I exhale, I'm going to gently coach that leg to come towards my face. Good. So I'm more interested here that your leg is lengthening than that your knee is close to your nose. Great. Using that breath to help guide the stretch. And when it starts to become easier, if you want more of a challenge, lengthening that right leg and flexing through the foot to keep it nice and strong. Nice. One more breath. On your next exhale, I want you to hug baby in as you let that left leg come over to the left side, only as far as it can go without lifting your right hip. So for some of us, it's really not much. So both hips are on the ground. That right arm can come out wide, giving you a little counterbalance and a little opening for the pecs. And using those nice deep breaths to open up the adductors, the muscles on the inside of the legs. Good, one more breath. Next inhale, that leg rises. We're going to take a hold of the strap in the right hand, letting the left arm come long. And this time we're going to bring that leg all the way over, shifting as you need to if you're on the pillows, so that that left hip is up. And that left foot is likely on or close to the ground. And then again, if you have that flexibility and it's not tweaking your neck, looking over that left shoulder. I just love these open twists. They really help us open up both shoulders and hips. They're also really nice for digestion. And just checking in with that right foot, making sure it's flexed as well. Good, one more breath. Great, next inhale, arm rises. And we're gonna release that strap, bringing that left knee in and giving it a little hug. Now, if you'd like, you can bring both knees in nice and wide. So one hand to one shin, and just rock a little side to side. Good, so we're gonna transition into table now. So I'm gonna have you guys remove any of the props that you have on your mat. And then we're gonna take our thin blanket or towel and place it right where our knees come down. This is optional, but it's kind of nice during pregnancy to use all those props, be a little extra comfy. And we tend to be on our knees a little bit more in prenatal yoga since we can't bring belly down to the mat. Good, so you're finding the tabletop that is comfy for you today, just making sure that wrists are mirroring shoulders, knees are mirroring hips. As your belly begins to grow, you're gonna start taking knees wider and wider. So don't be afraid to do that if it makes you feel more stable. And we're gonna come into our cat-cows. So inhaling, now difference with cat-cow and pregnancy is that we're not trying to arch the low back. We wanna try to keep the low back nice and level. We're gonna be letting the arch come from the chest. So opening the chest, and then exhaling, finding that nice cat spine, stretching those shoulders, maybe wiggling the hips. So I want you to follow your breath and your pace here. And as you're moving through your cat-cow, I encourage you to take any little movements that feel good. So it doesn't just have to be flexion and extension of your spine. You'll see that I tend to move my shoulders around, I shake my head out, I move my hips around. We're just trying to get some of those kinks out before we start moving a little more. Good. Maybe taking some circles with the head in one direction. And reversing. Good. And then I want you to tuck the toes sitting back onto the heels. Let's circle the wrists a bit. And Lauren is familiar with this. We call this screaming toes, which is nice and horrible in pregnancy. The fascia on the soles of our feet does tend to get tight, especially in pregnancy. And it can be really nice if we can release that. That releases the fascia behind the legs too. It can actually really help with hip issues. But if this is too much for you, you can always put your feet back down. So we're gonna start like this. I'm gonna inhale, arms rise. Interlace fingers, flip the palms. Now drop your hips. So we're trying to lengthen the low spine. Pulling those hands up. Go ahead and look down and start to pull the arms behind you. Good, looking up. Looking down. Up one more time. And we're gonna shake those out. Now you can come on up, giving your feet a little release. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, this time let's interlace behind us and pull down, opening those shoulders in the front. Instinct here can be to arch the low spine. So instead, hug baby in, we're trying to keep that low back as neutral as possible, because as our babies grow bigger, we're going to have more of a natural arch there anyway. Good. And just looking over one shoulder at a time, moving with your breath here. Great. Okay, releasing the hands, shaking those out. Inhaling, arms up, gaze up. Exhale, we're going to come forward back into table. And now bring your hands a little farther forward so we can come into a knee down plank here. So here we're just going to start to warm up the core a little bit. And when I say core, I'm not talking about the muscles for a six pack. I mean all of the muscles that wrap completely around the low spine. So I want you to think about hugging baby in from all directions and tightening in the low back and just feeling what that connection is like. I want your shoulders to be nicely over the wrists here, nice and supported. So you can stay here. This might be enough for you. If you want to wake up the upper body a little bit more, you can go ahead and take a little chaturanga down. So inhale to prepare. Exhale, keeping elbows nice and close, chaturanga down. Inhale, rise. Now we're going to push back through child's. Take this into a little flow. And inhale, arms up. Exhaling, we come forward. It's fine if you get lost here. You can always just watch me. Take our little chaturanga, totally optional. You can just hang out and plank for a sec. And coming on up. We're going to take this a few more times. So go with your breath, your pace, whatever feels good and cozy for you today. I know I had days in my second trimester where I was just totally gangbusters. I wanted to go, go, go. And other days when I didn't want to get off the couch. So you figure out how you want to do this today. Good. So if you're following me, we're going to go 2 more times. And I'm doing 1 more. Good. And this time I'm going to stay up. I'm going to turn so you guys can see me, but you can stay exactly how you are on your mat. And I'm going to bring my arms nice and wide. We're coming into a gate pose here. So I want you to tell me when I bring my leg out, do you guys see this as my left or my right? Because Zoom seems to change it up each time.
Right.
Alrighty, so right leg out. Great. And I'm going to come and bring my left arm down as my right arm is high here. And I want to feel the engagement of my obliques here. So I'm hugging baby back in. We work in prenatal yoga to strengthen the obliques and the supporting abdominal muscles around the uterus because it really helps with back pain, helps with our hips, and helps make birthing faster. Always a plus. And now I'm going to keep hugging baby in as I lift up that right leg, flexing through the foot. Good. And coming back to my breath. So we use breath in yoga just like we use breath in birthing to help guide us through these more challenging poses. How can I still be challenged but relax into it? 1 more breath. Good, and then we're gonna bring that right leg down and inhale, arms rise. Beautiful. So bringing that knee in and bringing the left knee out, left leg out now. Awesome. Inhale to prepare, open the arms nice and wide. Exhale, bringing that right hand down and reaching the left arm high. So this is also really similar to our triangle action. So I'm pressing down in my right foot, and that helps me feel the connection from the foot up through the leg, up through those obliques as I hug baby in. And we're just preparing, feeling that connection. And then as you're ready, you're going to hug a little more as you lift up that left leg, flexing through the foot. Good. Thinking about reaching through the hand and the heel. And how can you use that breath to guide you here? Good, one more breath. And as you exhale, that foot can come down. We're gonna hug to prepare as we inhale, rise here. Gorgeous, nice. Bringing the knee in. And now you can go ahead and remove that blanket. We're gonna come into our first down dog for today. So hands can come a little farther out than in your traditional tabletop, tucking the toes, lifting those hips high, start to walk your dog, one heel and then the other. Seeing what is going on in that body today. And then as you start to come towards stillness, go ahead and bend both knees as deep as you need to really lengthen the back. So I'm going to press through my palms, imagining that someone is pulling my hips back and up. If my shoulders feel really forward, I'm just going to remind my shoulder blades to pull back onto the ribs. Nice deep breath. And then keeping that connection in the spine, starting to lower the heels any amount. Knees do not need to be straight. And I want you to check in with the head. Is it hanging out? If not, go ahead and shake the head no and yes. Allowing the head to hang like ripe fruit. And I want you to take one of those full body Dirga breaths in the nose. Out the soft open mouth. Good. Great. We're going to inhale, right leg's going to come high. And as we exhale, that right leg's going to step on the outside of the right hand. So that's one of the differences with prenatal yoga is we keep our legs wider here. I want you to place the left palm down as you inhale, right arm high, nice open twist. And as you exhale, we're going to bring that arm down. And I want you to, if you need to, bring an elbow to the knee just to make sure you're nice and stable. And then we're going to lift up into our warrior one. Now I take warrior one with a crescent foot on the back foot because that's more comfortable for my knee. You can stay like that, or you can tip your heel down to a 45-degree angle for the foot. Great. Wherever you are, I want you to let the hands start to come down. Thumbs spin back. Open in the chest here. Check in with your low back. Can we help it be a little flatter by hugging in baby and relaxing in that low back? Nice. And if this feels comfy for you and you want to take it further, you can start to arch just from the chest. We want to keep that low back neutral. Think about the chest rising. Eyes gaze up. Beautiful. Next inhale, arms will rise. We're going to open up warrior two. So in pregnancy, we take warrior two, all of our warriors a little wider. So we're not looking to have the heel match up with our midsole. You want to have one foot on one side of the mat and the other foot a bit catty corner. As belly gets bigger, you will widen that stance even more. Good, nice full breath here. And then front elbow comes to front knee, top arm, rainbows overhead, side angle. growing and growing. Inhale to rise. We're going to flip the front palm. Left hand comes to baby as we take peaceful warrior. Next, inhale, back warrior 2. Now we're going to straighten that leg. We're coming into triangle, so if you prefer to take this with a block, you may need to take a moment to grab your block. So arms are nice and long, legs are wide. We're going to lean first. So lean as far forward as you can, and then bring that hand down to the block, to your leg, or to the floor. One difference in pregnancy is I don't want your hand just floating. That can put a bit too much pressure on the front of the abs. Good. Maybe leaning back a little to open the chest. Seeing what you can do in your body today. One more breath. Next, inhale, bend that front knee a little bit to give you some strength as you lift back up and find your warrior 2. Great. So we're going to parallel feet. Go ahead and remove your block. Bring heels in about 45 degrees. We're going to inhale, open wide. Exhale, goddess, bending elbows and knees. Inhale, wide. Exhale, goddess. So following your breath here. And if you'd like, I'm going to welcome you to bring in some pelvic floor work here. So on the exhale, starting to engage the pelvic floor, pulling all the muscles from the perineum up to the uterus, up, up, up. And then inhale, release. Exhale as we engage the pelvic floor as we squat. Inhales, release. Nice. Keep going. Beautiful. I wish I had a second camera to see outside. There's a heron sitting right in the brook in front of me right now. One more. Good. Now parallel feet, inhale, really lengthen the spine. Exhale, we're going to take a nice wide-legged forward fold, letting the head fully release. And take your favorite hand position. So I have my hands right under my head right now, but you are welcome to grab heels. You can grab blocks. Just play with what feels good today. Good, one more breath. And then we're going to bring the heels in again, bending the knees. Bringing the elbows to the knees can be a nice way to just prepare so there's no dizziness coming up. And then we're going to hug baby in, nice flat spine. Inhale, rise up. Good. So we're going to pivot now. You guys are going to be looking away from the screen, but I'll be walking you through. So now the left foot is going to point towards the back of your mat, and you're going to come into warrior 2 on the left side. Great. And if you're the type of person who hates looking away from the screen, you can always adjust yourself so that you spin around. Good. So nice and strong here, hugging baby in, really coming into that front knee, building some strength. And then we're going to bring the left elbow down to the knee, rainbowing the right arm overhead, really reach. Nice. Next, inhale, rising back to warrior two. Right hand can come to baby as the left arm rainbows overhead, peaceful warrior. Next, inhale back to warrior two. Straightening that front leg, grabbing your block if you need it. And then we're going to reach as far forward as we can first before we come down. Hand comes to the block, the floor, or your shin. Good. And how can you grow here? Can you open up through the chest more? Can you reach your arm more? Do you feel that connection under your feet, knowing that your legs are nice and strong? Hugging baby in, keeping them nice and safe. One more breath. And then bending as much as you need to into that front knee. On an inhale, we're going to rise, warrior two. Beautiful. So check your feet. We're going to be spinning into warrior one, and I don't want you guys to be in a straight line, so make sure that you're as wide as you need to feel supported. And then we're going to pivot that back foot coming into warrior one. Heel can either be up or at a 45-degree angle down on the ground. Check in with your low back. Can you release the hips to let your low back be neutral? And then for a chest opener, you can bring the hands down, spinning the thumbs back. And if you want that little arch, opening your heart up, looking up. Look at what your body can do. Great. Next, inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands come forward. If your block is still there, move it aside. And we're going to place the right hand down on the mat as we inhale the left arm high, taking that nice open twist on this side. Good. One more breath. On an exhale, that left hand comes down, and we're going to bring that left leg back into a nice down dog, letting your feet be as wide as they need to be so you feel nice and stable and supported. Coming back to that deep yoga breath. We'll stay here for a few breaths. Really letting the body breathe big. Good. After your last breath, we're going to take a little child's here. So knees can come down as wide as you need to make room for baby. Forehead's going to come down to the mat. Letting the heart start to slow down. Feeling that connection with the ground. And letting your belly release. Good. On your next inhale, we're gonna come up to knees, and you guys can turn to face the camera, or the screen, I should say. Great. So we're going to come into a yogic squat to do just a little bit more with our pelvic floor. It's your choice if you want it to be supported or not. So if you're feeling like you're at the point now where you want a little break, you can go ahead and place the yoga block right underneath your sits bones. We bring the feet nice and wide. If you're used to squatting in your practice and you want to do more, you don't need to use a block here. Totally up to you. Elbows are going to come on the inside of the knees. I want you to let the hips really drop here so that we're letting that low back be as long as it can be. And letting that length then come up through the spine, through the crown of the head. Good. Once you feel nice and secure, let the eyes close. And we worked before on engaging the pelvic floor on the exhale. So this time around, let's engage it on the inhale. There are benefits to both, so it's nice to practice in both ways. So on your next inhale, you're going to imagine that that pelvic floor can lift up, up, up. Exhales, we want to release completely. It can be nice to think of this like taking a ride on an elevator. So as we inhale, that elevator goes from the basement all the way up. And then as we exhale, we let that elevator come all the way back down. Keep following your breath, your pace. When we practice pelvic floor work in pregnancy, the releasing of the pelvic floor is just as important as the engaging. Because when birthing time comes, we want to have that connection with our pelvic floor so we can tell it, all right, it's time to let go. And then the more we can engage the pelvic floor during pregnancy, the easier of a time we have in postpartum telling it, all right, it's time to re-engage. So just two more. Good. As you're finished with your last one, you're going to make a nice transition down to your back for bridge pose. If your bellies are small enough, and I can't tell from the screen, so I'm going to let you make this call, you can bring your block with you and place a block between the legs. It will get to a point where this is just not going to be comfortable for you in pregnancy. And we're going to bring the shoulder blades nicely underneath the back here. I'm going to take robot arms, so my palms will face each other. You are welcome to take your favorite pose for bridge arms. Heels are going to be as close to my bum as possible. And then one of the big differences in practicing bridge in pregnancy, though I like to do this even when I'm not pregnant, is when I lift my hips, the movement should come from my feet. So I'm going to press into my feet, and pressing into my feet helps me lift my hips high. Good. And we're just going to tap into using our breath again to help sustain us in what can be a more challenging pose. So see what you can actually relax here. Check in with your jaw and your neck and your shoulders. Can they relax? And while we're hugging baby in and supporting the weight, can we actually relax the hips a little bit here? And I'm going to let you decide when you are done with this, you're done. So don't feel like you need to hold it as long as I do or feel like you can hold it longer. Whenever you are ready, you're going to go ahead and exhale down. If you still have that block between the legs, remove it and just let the feet come as wide as the mat. We're just going to windshield wiper the knees a little side to side, just releasing those hips some more. Good. We're going to do a shorter inversion today. But if you watch this again in the replay, you're welcome to do this a little longer. But come back into that bridge position. We're going to take that block, and as you inhale, pressing into the feet, lifting the hips again into bridge, we're going to slide the block underneath the sacrum at a height that feels good. So I like this mid-height today, but you can also put the block flatter, or you can rise it up on its side to make it higher. But you should find yourself in a nice supported bridge pose. This is also a restorative pose, and you can hang out here for a while, especially if you're feeling the weight of baby. This is nice to help baby come off of the hips for a little bit. And as long as you feel stable, as you inhale, we're going to lift one leg and then the other. And flexing into the feet. Let the eyes close. We're starting towards that Shavasana action of letting the mind melt, letting the body cool down. There's a myth about not doing inversions during pregnancy. Basically, if you want to do a headstand or a handstand, I don't recommend doing that unless that's something you've been doing prior to pregnancy and you still feel stable. But for supported inversions like this, it's actually super beneficial. It can help baby get into a good position for birthing, helps reduce swelling in the feet, ankles, and legs. And as I mentioned before, getting baby off the hips for a little bit can be a huge relief. I'm going to take a few more breaths, inviting the body to settle down. And then as you're ready, you lower one foot and then the other. When your feet feel nice and stable on the ground, you'll press into the feet to remove the block. And then taking any additional stretches that you need before you find your Shavasana. So Shavasana can either be taken on your side, one side or the other. And that's how I'll do it today as well. But I do show in my videos taking it as a reclined supine. So the same exact thing we did in the beginning of class, where that pillow is propped up on a block. If you are going to take it on your side, make sure you've got something under your head, and ideally something between your legs that goes from the knee to the ankle. So these big bolsters are really nice. Yoga blocks work too. You can actually put a yoga block between the knees and one between the ankles. If you don't have that, it's not the end of the world. And then if you've got your cushy blanket and you're feeling chilly, you can put that on you as well. I think I'm going to bypass that today. Nice. And so wherever you are, you're going to let go completely. So release the full weight of the head. Allowing your eyes to float in their sockets. All expression falls from the face. releasing the jaw, allowing the teeth to separate and the tongue to float in the mouth. Releasing all the muscles at the base of the skull where it meets the back of the neck. And letting that feeling of relaxation pour down the neck and the throat. Releasing all of the muscles. Shoulders relax. Arms release from shoulder to elbow. Elbow to wrist. And through the hands and every finger. Allowing the upper back to release down as the chest opens. Open in the heart and the lungs. Releasing in the mid-back, through the ribs, through the sternum and the solar plexus. All emotions soften. Releasing through the low back and the hips. And letting the belly be nice and round. Plenty of space for baby. Plenty of space for you. Letting the pelvis release. Legs release through the thighs, through the knees, through the calves and the shins, down through the ankles, the feet, and the toes. Surrender here. Saying to yourself, my body and my baby are healthy and strong. My body and my baby are healthy and strong. My body and my baby are healthy and strong. Beginning now to deepen the breath, feeling baby rise and fall as you inhale and exhale. Slowly inviting movement back into fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, and taking your time, keeping eyes closed or gaze soft, finding the way you want to come back to your seat today. Really enjoying every step along the way. If you're able to sit up on something, a pillow, a block, a blanket, it can be nice to elevate your hips. Good. And when you get to your seat, once again, we'll place a hand on the heart and a hand on baby. Letting the spine be long. Feeling that sweet connection. Letting yourself savor these last few moments where there is nothing to focus on but yourself and your baby. And I invite you to come back to your intention here, reminding yourself what you'd like to bring with you from today's practice. And if there's anything left that you'd like to let go of, we'll take a final breath together. So as you're ready, nice deep inhale through the nose. We'll let it out the mouth, let go. And then bringing the hands together in prayer position, Anjali Mudra, thumbs graze the sternum, and we lightly bow the head. And we give thanks first to ourselves for taking this time to honor our body and calm our mind. We can be more caring and loving for those around us. And then we thank our baby for practicing with us. As we strengthen our own body, our baby's body is getting stronger too. And lifting the gaze, we can thank each other with a namaste.
Namaste.